Why wholesaling real estate is better than fix and flip real estate. Guys, this is Rick Ginn with Flip with Rick, and you know what to do to receive the absolute best free information on wholesaling available today on the internet or really anywhere. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. So you might think I'm biased because I'm a wholesaler, but keep in mind, I do every aspect of real estate. I started out wholesaling and I've done everything from fix and flips, creative financing, short sale flips, you name it, I've done it, and I still do them all today. But if you're specifically asking me about wholesaling versus fix and flip, I have a biased opinion on it, and it's based on my experience. I have 19 years data of doing this. When I first started out, I did wholesaling exclusively, and I gotta be honest with you, for 2 years, it was amazing. I would find deals, I would get them under contract, and I would quickly sell them to cash buyers. And I quickly became very good at my trade. I actually loved it. And after the first 2 years, I got tempted and I started doing fix and flip. And I just thought I was going to make a killing. I go, well, you know, these guys are making 50, 60 grand. I'm getting 15 to 20K. Why not go ahead and get their money, right? Makes sense. So people advised me against it, said, you're crazy. It becomes its own business. I said, listen, they can do it, I can do it. So I did it. So I actually wound up taking on one fix and flip. That wasn't too bad. Then I took on a second one, the third one. And by the time I got up to the sixth one, I gotta be honest with you, I thought I was, I hate to use the word killing it, but I thought I was doing amazing because I was still running my wholesale operations. I was trying to do this myself. So I'd go out, I'd get a contract or get a property, and I quickly found out how difficult a fix and flip is. And what I want to do is walk through you on the pros and cons and why, if you truly want to be a great real estate investor, do not dedicate your life to doing fix and flips. And I have specific reasons and data to share with you. Let's go over what the pros of being in wholesaling is. And I like to use this as a constant reminder of where you want to be. And then towards the end, we'll walk through the fix and flip and show you where you'll wind up being if you wind up doing fix and flip. Now, full disclosure, if you love fixing up properties and you love getting in there and doing it, meaning you have maybe your dad was a contractor, your family's in the construction business, and you have a passion for project management and you're very familiar with work crews, then maybe this video is not for you. But if you're like me and you just love doing real estate transactions and you're trying to gain more freedom and more financial independence, wholesaling is going to be the ticket. So let's walk through the pros of wholesaling and why you need to stay focused on wholesaling, especially in your first year of doing real estate investing. Number one, wholesaling is concentrating on the deal. So when you contract a property, say you get under contract for $100,000 and say it's worth $150, needs some light rehab, and you got a buyer interested in paying you $130,000. From the day you put that under contract to the day you sell it to your cash buyer via assignment agreement, you can make $30,000 in typically under 2 weeks. No hammer, no what ifs, no like, is this going to work out? Am I going to go broke doing it? Is the market going to screw me on this deal? No. You take the profit, and you know my rule is you can never get hurt taking a profit. That's why I like wholesaling, because you can repeat the act and do it over and over. Does it require work? Absolutely, guys. I've never, ever pretended that wholesaling is this get rich quick scheme. It's just the fastest way I know to gain your financial independence and get true freedom for you and your family. The next one to talk about is when you stick to wholesaling, you are in control. That's it. There's no contractor telling you, well, it's going to take longer. It's going to cost more. I didn't know the house had asbestos. I didn't know that the roof was rotting out and I need more time. I need more money. You know, I don't know what's going on with the market. When you stick to wholesaling, there are no outside variables. Now, every now and then you might have to adjust the price, but as long as you don't have to put the work into doing it and you don't have to spend time on project management, you and only you are in control. And that is the key to wholesaling. That right there, honestly, if I had to hang my hat on it, that's why I love wholesaling, because it is dependent on your effort and your effort only. Every now and then you do get a price wrong, but you can adjust from it. If you buy a house and you close on it and you get the price wrong and you rehab it, you usually wind up just compounding a mistake. And that's why sticking to wholesaling leaves you in control. So always remember that. The minute you go outside of wholesaling, you are going to be dependent on other people to help you out in the transactions. And when you get into the contractor world, it's a little bit different on that. Which leads me to the next great philosophy of wholesaling is, if time is your most valuable asset in life, and we already know that it's not up for debate, then wholesaling puts you in complete control of your time. You control the time frame, you control the buyer, you control the seller, you control every aspect. Your buyers will tell you what they'll pay up to, but you're not leaving it up to the market to dictate what happens with your property. You see, when you're truly doing wholesaling, to get a deal done in typically under 21 days, you're at very little risk for market exposure, meaning something drastically changes in the market, either interest rates go up or inventory explodes. In wholesaling, since we're basically trading the properties quickly, we're not exposed to what typical speculators have to deal with. If time is truly your greatest asset, wholesaling is your best friend. You can control it. And guys, in wholesaling, you can be in and out of a property in as little as 21 days. Really, the maximum's 30 days. Which leads me to my next highlight here, which is focus. The great thing about wholesaling is your focus is on marketing. And if you spend 1 year just doing wholesaling, you eventually will wind up being a marketing expert. There's no way around it. A truly good wholesaler does one thing really well, and they learn how to market and the ability to talk to people. That is one of the greatest assets you'll ever get from marketing. It's what allows me to communicate to you right now. The ability to focus on one laser focused task and let you become the best at it is a service within itself in wholesaling. The minute you start doing other things outside of wholesaling is going to have you concentrate on another thing. The reality is, when we sell our properties in wholesaling, there's very little effort put in dispositions. It's pretty straightforward. So it doesn't really take away from what you're doing. So I can tell you this, if you stick to wholesaling, you will not get the shiny object syndrome, like, let me try this, let me try that. There's tools out there that might distract you, but for the most part, as long as you're wholesaling, you understand that the skill you bring most to the table is your ability to market and connect with motivated sellers. Last but not least, I mean, all these are as equally important. I can't stress this enough. The one thing wholesaling will do is it minimizes your risk. If you truly do it right and you sell the contract via assignment and you follow the laws in your state, you basically almost virtually eliminate your risk. The only risk you have in wholesaling is your time, your effort, and the marketing dollars you put forward. But when it comes to like financial risk, let's face it, we're doing very small earnest money deposits, and we're basically never taking title to the properties, occasionally when we have to. But for the most part is you're selling the contract and it minimizes your risk. Which leads to the last thing, the last beautiful benefit of wholesaling is you have very little transactional cost, meaning you don't have exorbitant closing costs. You don't have a lot of money tied up in the deal. And most important, your time is not tied up into it. Let's jump into what happens when you convert a wholesaling operation into a fix and flip. And I'm going to walk through some of the staggering cons that will bottleneck your business. So let's jump into it. So fix and flip. You decided to graduate from wholesaling to fix and flip because you believe you can make more money doing it. And I'm here to tell you, it rarely works out in that event. You got to understand, when you get in the fix and flip, you have now entered into the construction zone, the building zone. Let's face it, we are buying problematic houses. End of story. You are buying problems. And the reality is, a lot of these problems, you have no idea what they are. You don't know the extent of them, and you don't know how much it's going to cost. The biggest con I see in fix and flip is the unknown aspect. And when any investor starts bringing in the word unknown into the equation, it's scary. Because like I can buy a house and find out there's termite infested, and maybe I got an inspection, maybe I missed it on the inspection, but maybe that costs an extra $10,000 to tent the house or to treat it. Maybe the roof is a lot worse than I thought. It's an extra $25,000. And a lot of times, if you were planning on making a $50,000 profit and there was $35,000 of unexpected expenses, that 50 went down to 15. And keep in mind, it doesn't stop there. Let's think about this. Your holding costs go through the roof because now you have to fund the deal. So you either have to get a private money loan or use yours, which is worse, which will really put you in financial distress. Then you got to pay interest on the loan. If you guys go out and say, well, I just get a hard money loan, Rick, there's a reason they call it hard money. Hard money winds up being your partner without any of the work. So there's a reason they call it hard money. It's not called easy money. They hit you with a million fees on the HUD. And here's a little trick on hard money. Do not focus on the interest rate. Focus on the ease of disbursement of the money and focus on the points they charge you. Points are basically a percentage they charge you up front to do the loan. So if they're charging you 3 points and you're getting $100,000, you're going to pay a $3,000 fee. So instead of giving you $100,000, they'll fund you $97,000 and usually have to bring money to the closing table. All your fees go up, and then keep in mind your payday. My God, the typical fix and flip, the reality is it's going to take you the minimum, usually 90 days. That's for the fix and flip part. And remember, it usually takes 30 to 45 days from the time you enter into a contract, especially with a retail buyer. And then you get to go through the additional stress of a full-on inspection. And if they find one thing wrong with you, they're going to beat you up on it really bad. And you might go through multiple buyers. And when you start doing this as a business, you actually have to become an expert in construction. And this is where I got killed. I know the basics of construction, but you have to enter into contracts with contractors. You have to leave deposits. What happens if you get in an argument with them? And today's age, when what we're experiencing right now, trying to get labor it's a lot of work. So when I go to get just my average worker, I have to call probably 10 vendors. And right now it's extremely taxing getting a house fixed from head to toe in a reasonable time frame. The average fix and flip across the country exceeds 180 days. So I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait 6 months to get paid, and nor should you. So when we talk about risk, you talk about risk on a fix and flip, you are in probably the worst spot you can be, because now you're letting variables control your profit level that you have absolutely no control over. What do I mean by that? Market timing. If 6 months the inventory really blows up in your neck of the woods, it's going to affect your pricing. If comps start for your same size house and the square footage, they start dropping, you have to drop yours. There's so many variables that come in. The cost of supplies, the availability of contractors. Like in South Florida, we got to deal with hurricanes. So when a hurricane comes and hits all these houses, I can contract 50 houses, but I can't get people to fix them up for a reasonable rate. There's so many variables that get out of your control in fix and flip. And a lot of you guys don't understand. You have to show up to work. So typical contractors show up between 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning, and you have to go to the job site. You have to check in with them, make sure their workers show up, make sure they're on an agenda, they're on a timeline, and make sure it all gets done. And not only do you check them on once, so typically when I had a fix and flip going, I would show up in the morning, I would swing by at lunchtime, and I would swing by at the end of the day. Now do this for 180 days on 4 or 5 projects and tell me how much you like fix and flips. And another factor on fix and flips, which most wholesalers discount completely, it's your time. My God, the amount of time you have to put into these fix and flips There's a reason people hire project managers. Project manager has a budget, they do follow through, and they work on the progress on trying to get the project done under budget and under a timeline. Now, if I give you 4 or 5 of those projects and there's a lot of money and time on it, inevitably something will go wrong and it's going to stress you out. The only deals I ever got in trouble in real estate is when I stretched myself out in fix and flips. And I actually did 5 deals all in a row. This was right after hurricane. And out of the 5 deals, only one of them made a profit. And I worked for 8 months straight, and I swore I would never do that again. A final review on some of the cons with doing a fix and flip. As I said, unless you want to get into the construction business and deal with that headache of it, not to mention all the unknown variables, because when you buy a house, you start tearing it apart. You just can't stop in the middle of it. It is not as sexy as HGTV makes it seem to be. And I'm telling you, there is a reason that only so many people do fix and flip. Now, by the way, you have to disregard everything you see on TV because most of it's fake. It's all for TV show and ratings. So we start with an ugly house. It turns beautiful. They sell the struggle in between. Guys, don't get sucked up into that because it is not like that at all when you do a fix and flip. The last thing I'll leave you on a fix and flip is, in my opinion, it is not a scalable business, meaning you can't do 100 fix and flips in a year. You would have to have a massive army to do it. Think about all the project managers. You'd have to have contractors on your staff. You have to have a full administrative office to run everything. It's consuming. And then if the market has a letdown, it will take you 1 year to adjust all your pricing. And guess what wholesalers are doing in between? They're contracting properties today to sell to all the fix and flip guys so they can get in and out with their profit. Now, it's okay to cherry pick 1 or 2 if you got one in your neighborhood, but man, make sure you know you have a house and what it's going to cost to fix, because that is the biggest challenge in the fix and flip. Is so many people think they're going to make so much more money. Honestly, if I had a deal where I was going to make 25 grand, or I could wait 6 months and maybe make 40 to 50, by the time you factor in the 2 closing costs, by the way, it's going to cost you twice as much because you have 2 sets of closing costs. Remember, you're going to have to pay realtors when you go to sell it. You're going to have to pay the full realtor's commission because that's what happens when you bring it to retail. How much do you truly make? Have you guys ever seen the HGTV where they break down, we bought it for $200,000, we put $100,000 in it, we sold it for $600. They eliminate all holding costs, all the realtor costs. But guys, what is your time worth? If you had to put 1,000 hours into a fix and flip and you're going to make 25 grand more, what's your time worth? Because 1,000 hours, I'm not even going to do the math on it. You're going to wind up being an hourly employee when you do that. Stick to stuff that you know is going to make you money. If you want to partner up with someone to do like a fix and flip, but honestly, what's the point of that? Because you're just making half the profit. In my opinion, you're better off just sticking to wholesaling. I'm biased, but I've tried both. I don't like working with contractors. I don't like to give up my time to do project management. And I have no asphyxiation on making a house beautiful and making it perfect to sell it for a retail customer that honestly, they don't care in the end anyways. They just want nice, pretty houses. So I'm not the nice, pretty house guy. I like to buy it. Worst case scenario, guys, check out the videos we do on Wholesales where you just clean it up, close on it, do a less than 2-week repair on it and put it back on the market. Still the lowest price unit in that neighborhood. And that's about as far as I go. The fix and flip, the traditional fix and flip, the cost of doing them, the time it takes, and the absolute risk of the unknown. That's the main reason I stay away from fix and flips. But you guys tell me, do you truly enjoy wholesaling to the point where like you just love doing the deal? Like my favorite part is getting a deal done, getting it inked. Once it's inked, honestly, I'm bored. I want to move on to the next deal. I don't want to spend thousands of hours trying to sell it for this dream retail price. Because if you think you're going to make 25 grand more, consider what's your time worth. And are you willing to wait 6 months? I say no. You guys tell me in the comments below, do you subscribe to wholesaling houses or are you going to risk out and go into the fix and flip the unknown? You know what you should be doing. Let me know in the comments. And if you want to continue to receive the absolute best free wholesale information on the internet today from myself and Zach, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and share this video of someone you think has got a problem with fix and flips and they know they need to stick to wholesaling. Guys, this is Rick Ginn with Flip with Rick, and I'll see you in the next video.